let me walk you through the top 5 signs that I look for and almost immediately tell me whether that relationship is great or not. As a researcher who spent 20 years studying relationships, this has been my obsession. I've worked inside one of the largest research programs on marital longevity that's been done in the country that focus specifically on low-income couples with children. Now, really what that means is I've worked with couples with some of the most severe issues, not because they're certainly poor, but because poverty usually means life is harder all around. And having a relationship, whether you're rich, poor, or somewhere in the middle, is difficult. Having a relationship and raising kids is hard no matter where you're at in life, how educated or not educated, or how financially savvy you are. It doesn't really matter, it's hard. But when you're poor, all of that is much more difficult. So when I'm looking at couples, I'm looking at these particular signs. Sign number 1, I'm looking at how they tell the story of their relationship. What's their affect or emotional overtone of their partnership? How do they talk about the meaning of things, and what do they attach to certain situations? Because every couple, they go through stress, conflict, disappointment, periods, long periods sometimes, of feeling disconnected or frustrated. But unhealthy couples oftentimes tell me that hardship is proof that their relationship is terrible, whereas healthy couples might say something different about the hardship. Couples who aren't doing so well will say, we always have this issue and I think we're just incompatible. I don't think we're doing very well. I think we're horrible. I think my partner's not good to me. I don't think I'm good to my partner. I don't think our relationship is durable. Whereas healthier couples might tell the story with a different affect, a different emotional tone, and a different perspective. They might say, those moments were really difficult, but they forced us to talk about things that were difficult and challenging. Those moments were really hard, but it made us stronger. And how people tell the story of what happened tells me how the couple organizes around conflict and how they view the challenges and how those challenges have either been worked on or not. Sign number 2, how does the couple talk about each other? How does the spouse talk about their other half? How do they reflect on how they view one another? How do they describe each other? How do they speak about one another? Is it with respect? Is it with warmth? Is it with admiration? Is it with softness? Or does it have a subtle tone of disdain, anger, frustration, or resentment? Does the person feel valued when they're talking about their partner? When I'm listening, I'm looking for things like, my partner believes in me, or my partner thinks I'm smart. We don't always agree, but my partner pauses and considers what I have to say. My partner values me. They care about me. Researchers sometimes call this perceived partner responsiveness, but really it comes down to this one thing. Does each partner feel emotionally seen and emotionally validated by each other? Do they feel that their inner world matters to their partner? Because people don't just want love, they want to feel valued, they want to feel seen, they want to feel cared about. And the way that couples talk about each other tells me a lot about how they're feeling in that area. Sign number 3, what's the body language? Is it attuned or disconnected? This third thing that I look for is a lot harder for couples to fake because it's in their bodies, it's in their nervous system, it's in their physiology. And in body language, we talk a lot about reading people, not through their words or just behaviors, but baseline. How do they normally tend to act, speak, and behave? And then where do they go off course? So healthy couples, they generally make eye contact with one another. They track, they notice, they're attuned. They notice that if I say something, how do they each respond? If they say something to each other, do they adjust and say, hey, I know that might have hurt your feelings. Let me say that again. Or, hey, I think we're misunderstanding each other and I don't mean to upset you. Can you tell me how that landed for you? Couples that are healthy have inside jokes with each other. They generally make a lot of little moments of attachment with each other where they're adjusting. So you might say something to your partner, and in a healthy relationship, if you can tell it hurts, they might reach over with a soft hand, or they might say, hey, sorry, I didn't mean it that way, right? They're tracking each other. They're attuned in their body language and in their words because healthy couples share a nervous system and they know that. They behave in congruency with the knowledge that we are wired together. So what I say affects you, and what you say and do affects me. And we adjust to make sure that the relationship, that both of us are co-regulated, that both of us feel safe, and that both of us know I care about you and I'm constantly watching and making sure that the way I am with you matches how you like to be treated and loved by me. Sign number 4, how do they handle rupture or moments of conflict, and how do they repair afterwards? This fourth sign is not about whether couples fight or don't fight. Healthy couples fight. What matters more is what happens after these arguments or after these fights or moments of rupture. Do couples stay stuck for days? Do they avoid? Do they bury things under the rug? Do they escalate until somebody emotionally shuts down, or do they escalate and shut down so much that they're yelling and threatening divorce? Or do they have a habit of pausing, calming the moments, checking in with each other, maybe taking a break and then coming back? What do they do when conflict arises, and what do they do in these moments after conflict? Because sometimes you have some conflict and the kids need something, or work needs something, or there's something else on your minds, so you can't continue having the issue or the conflict, but you can't resolve it either. So the question isn't so much, do couples that are healthy have conflict or not? They do. Do couples who aren't doing so well have conflict? Of course they do too. But the defining difference is, what do they do when conflict arises, and what do they do afterwards as well? And healthy couples, they know how to spot the signs of when conflict is coming up, how to either re-engage and calm the room, or take a break and then come back. And both spouses, both partners in a healthy relationship, they do come back. It's not just one person chasing the other, but both regularly work at coming back. Sign number 5. Now this is my favorite one. How do couples work at getting to know each other? Do they have healthy love maps? Are they a couple that regularly updates and believes that no matter how long we're together, there's always something to learn about each other. There's always something more to learn about my partner, and there's always something more to learn about myself inside this relationship. This excites me a lot because you can see it pretty immediately. I remember meeting a couple, they'd been together for 35 years, which for me is almost as long as I've been alive. So to see a couple that's been married for 35 years and they're still passionate, excited, and loving each other, that excites me, and I want to study couples like this. This has been my obsession for most of my professional life, is what makes these couples who've been together for decades look like couples that are brand new to each other, but they have wisdom, they have different kinds of passion and connection that you don't earn right away. You earn through time. You learn by going in the trenches with each other. And this couple, they said something that every time I work with a healthy couple, I see them say it. They say, there's always something new to learn about my partner. And then I ask, well, how do couples that have been together for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, how do they do that? How do they update these maps of each other? And what's that skill? And something I see them regularly do is they say, well, my partner's always changing, so they might like this food today, but tomorrow they might not. So I regularly ask questions, even if I already know the answers. I might say, well, I know that your best friend is so-and-so, how are you guys doing, right? So I'm gonna update my information about my partner regularly. And this is where I acknowledge that couples who've been together for a long time, or even just a few years, the skill, it dulls over time. So one of the things that I encourage you to do is play our love mapping game. Now, you can play the game and download the game completely free at our website. You'll find the link in the description. My goal here for you, though, is not so much to get you to go and play the game, but to make the game a habit in your relationship that you do all the time. And you can do it very simply. Today, even while you're watching this video, think of something that you don't know about your partner, or think of something that you do know about your partner, but maybe you don't know exactly why or how your partner became that way. So maybe your partner loves scrambled eggs. Why? Why do you love scrambled eggs? What memory do you have attached to this food? Now, I know that example is silly and maybe even mundane, but the thing is that things about my partner, they're not silly or mundane. They're who she is. Whoever your partner is didn't just happen in a vacuum or in a silo. It happened over time. And a lot of times, we know the surface layers of each other. And then over time, we forget there's more depth to who our partner is. And healthy couples, they ask these deep questions. They ask about the meaning, the significance, where your partner comes from, why they got this way, what's going on for them. Not just to solve problems or to get better at relating, but just to get better at knowing each other. The cool thing about all these 5 signs that I'm looking for inside healthy relationships or relationships that aren't so good, I'm looking for these 5 signs, not so much because couples have these skills, sometimes they do, but they're not fixed traits. These are skills, these are abilities. These are abilities that couples can work on, that couples can strengthen, they can practice, and they can rebuild. And healthy couples put a lot of focus and effort into these skills, sometimes naturally, sometimes unconsciously. The goal is, though, is if we want to have a relationship, we want to be very conscious and thoughtful in how we're executing and how we're being in our relationship. And I present to you these qualities or skills because if you work on it, if you apply these 5 skills, checking in with your partner, finding out what's changed about them, finding out why are they this way as opposed to not that way, what made them who they are, what can you learn about your partner on a regular, daily, or weekly basis that updates the information of how your partner navigates through the world. That's a skill. And that's awesome to me because a lot of us think that a good quality relationship is luck or that some other people are more fortunate than us, that we don't have a great relationship, but look at them. And my question for you is, how did they get there? My question for myself is, how did the couples that have been together much longer than I've even been alive or have a greater relationship than I do, what made them that way? And how can I learn from them? And these 5 signs help us begin that journey of developing and bringing these skills out inside our relationship. And if you want to understand and know more about relationships, feel free to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so that I can keep updating you on quality research and insights from 20 plus years of working with couples.